Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Julien's Auctions based in the US in Beverly Hills, and we're going to have a look at an exceptionally rare guitar that is up for auction. So here we have it, one of the most famous guitars in history, I would say, history of kind of rock and roll, psychedelia, etc. We have Eric Clapton's Gibson SG, known as the Fool, which he played in his time with the band Cream. So this is extremely recognizable, very rare instrument, and it's coming up for auction on the 16th of November as part of the Julien's auction. Now I am going to go over that catalogue as well in a separate video, but I thought it was worth going over this guitar. So those of you that are into Eric Clapton or into Cream or into kind of the psychedelic scene of that time, the 60s, etc., you will know that is extremely famous. Hence the estimate here, $1 to $2 million. That is pretty crazy. Starting bid $250,000, current bid $300,000. Just to give a bit of an overview to anyone that doesn't know, so this is a circa 1964 Gibson SG electric guitar, no serial number, in custom psychedelic finish. Stage played by legendary guitarist Eric Clapton throughout his career with iconic rock band Cream. This guitar is not only an instantly recognizable instrument because it is a unique work of art with cultural significance to the psychedelic era, but it's also the instrument upon which Eric Clapton fully realized the woman tone that has become one of the most influential and recognizable sounds in rock history. So the guitar, known as Clapton's Fool guitar, has a custom painted psychedelic finish created by founding members of the Dutch art collective Marijke Koja and Simon Postuma. Completely destroyed those names, I'm sure. That became known as the Fool. Although the Fool went on to collaborate with many other famous musicians, notably designing costumes worn by the Beatles during their broadcast performance of All You Need Is Love and in their film Magical Mystery Tour, as well as painting the mural adorning the side of their Apple Boutique store in London, this guitar has survived to become the preeminent emblem of the psychedelic era. It was Cream's manager Robert Stigwood who first enlisted their help to add some special psychedelic magic to Cream's instruments and costumes. The most famous of these instruments is the guitar that was sanded and primed before executing their design with brush-applied oil-based enamel paints. Koja has reportedly stated that the theme of the guitar's design was about good versus evil, heaven versus hell, and the power of music in the universe to rise above it all as a force of good. Okay, so that is the very briefest overview. What we're going to do is have a look at the pictures, because that is really the interesting thing about this particular auction. And then we can see that there is an absolutely ridiculous amount of information about this guitar. So I might kind of tackle some of that afterwards. We'll see kind of how long we're getting on. But let's look at the pictures for now, and then there's an escape path for anyone that just doesn't want to know about the history about this guitar. But let's have a look anyway. Let's look at the pictures. There's a good overview. Classic Gibson SG. A few more views. There are lots of pictures in this particular auction. Exceptionally rare. I mean, I'm really interested to see how much this goes for. Pretty cool paint job, to be fair. Really astonishingly rare opportunity here. That's a kind of early image there. Yeah, very interesting. Some stuff about it in the magazines as well. I mean, arguably one of the rarest guitars in history. Surely this is going to end up in some kind of museum, I would have thought. But then again, maybe it'll end up in a private collection. You never know. Whoever has the money, I guess. It will be interesting to see if this does actually end up going for over $1 million. I mean, it could well do. See, some of the paint is a little bit uneven there, but I think it is an interesting design. I'm pretty sure that there were some bench copies made of this guitar by Gibson. I can't quite remember, but if anyone does remember if that is true, feel free to mention it in the comments. But yeah, they're really going to town on the images of this guitar, which is pretty cool, because if you are a big fan of Eric Clapton and this guitar, then these images are going to kind of help you if you wanted to make a recreation. But yeah, they really did go all out. Let's see what else we got here. A few more pictures. And let's see, Grover tuners, interesting. I think that's it. And we're back to the beginning. Okay, so that's the pictures. So there we go. We have the Eric Clapton Fool guitar. This auction's finishing on the 16th of November. It is the 14th today. The buyer's premium, I think, for this auction is 20%. So whatever the final price is, that's 20% for stuff over like $200,000, I think. So yeah, you probably have to pay 20%, maybe it's a little bit less if it's over $1 million, on top as well of the hammer price. So very curious to see if this goes for the estimate or not. So certainly 300,000 bids so far, and definitely a good chance that it might do. While we're here, just as a warning, I'm going to basically just go through some of this information about this guitar. I'm just going to read it out kind of as best as I can. If you don't want to kind of hear that, you don't want to hear my dodgy audiobook, then I would suggest that you just exit the video now and save yourself. So I'm just going to read over a few bits, possibly not all of it. Let's see how I get on. So anyway, we read up to this bit. So the Fool guitar came into Clapton's life at a pivotal moment in his career, having just left John Mayall's Bluesbreakers to form Cream with Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker. It has been widely reported that Clapton received this guitar from George Harrison, who was known to use SGs, including the 1964 Gibson SG Standard he plays in the video for Paperback Writer and Rain. Harrison gave that guitar to Pete Ham of Badfinger in 1969. Clapton received this guitar just after the band had released their first album, Fresh Cream, in 1966, and were planning their debut US tour the following year. As it turned out, 1967 will witness the Summer of Love, now considered the pinnacle of the 1960s psychedelic culture. Stigwood hoped that the Fool's artistry would help Cream make a splash when they performed during Murray the K's Music in the Fifth Dimension shows. The concert series began March 25th, 1967 at the RKO 58th Street Theatre on 3rd Avenue in New York City, with a lineup of artists that included direct from England, The Cream and The Who. Neither band had played in the United States before. Cream was not yet well known enough to receive top billing, and the chaotic nature of trying to fit 10 acts into a 90-minute show reduced Cream's set to an abbreviated version of I Feel Free. Despite the brevity of Cream's role in the show, their custom-painted instruments, hairstyle and clothing made a huge impact and successfully launched their career in the United States and beyond. Clapton's Fool guitar remained his principal instrument for most of the work that followed Fresh Cream. A 2022 Guitar Player magazine article commented, by the time Cream cut their 1967 follow-up Disraeli Gears, great album by the way, in New York City over 5 days, they had integrated psychedelia surreal lyrics into a heavier riff-oriented blues rock style. By this point, Clapton had begun playing a 1964 Gibson SG painted with psychedelic images by the Dutch art collective The Fool, an instrument that was key to the harmonically rich vocal woman tone that would characterize his playing during this era. Clapton's longest lasting contribution to the genre may well be his singular woman tone, which remains both a hallmark of the era and a holy grail for many guitarists more than 50 years on. The influence of Clapton's woman tone developed on this guitar cannot be overstated and has seldom been successfully imitated. The albums that followed Fresh Cream included Disraeli Gears 1967, the world's first platinum double album, Wheels of Fire 1968 and Goodbye 1969, and all are infused with the sounds of this guitar. Disraeli Gears was largely recorded at Atlantic Records in New York City in early May of 1967 and was produced by Felix Pappalardi and engineered by Tom Dowd. The album includes a defining Cream song Sunshine of Your Love and other signature songs such as Tale of Brave Ulysses and Strange Brew, both amazing songs. I actually love Tale of Brave Ulysses and Strange Brew. I think are much better than Sunshine of Your Love, in my opinion. Controversial, but that's how I feel. Anyway, Wheels of Fire contained a broader, more adventurous set of songs that included White Room, Politician, and perhaps the most copied song in any blues band's repertoire, Crossroads. Clapton continued to use the Fool regularly, though less exclusively, until the end of Cream in November 1968, when the band had finished recording their Goodbye album, released in February of 1969. Although Clapton first began developing the woman tone with his Les Paul, he only fully achieved the tone he was after on the Fool. Clapton described the tone in his own words in the August 1967 issue of Beat Instrumental magazine, saying, "I am playing more smoothly now. I'm developing what I call my woman tone. It's a sweet sound, something like the solo on I Feel Free. It's more like the human voice than the guitar. You would think it was a guitar for the first few passages. It calls for the correct use of distortion." A now famous video of a 1968 interview with Clapton captures him demonstrating various guitar techniques, including the woman tone, with the Fool guitar on camera. He says during the interview that the woman tone is produced by either the bass pickup or the lead pickup, but with all of the bass off. In fact, if you use both pickups, you should take all the bass off from the tone control. That is, turn it down to 1 or 0 on the tone control and then turn the volume full up. Despite the absence of a serial number, which would definitively date Clapton's Fool, the year has been established based upon certain characteristics of the instrument. Although the guitar was once thought to be a 1961 SG Les Paul, the guitar features a 6-screw pickguard rather than a 5-screw pickguard, which would have been standard on an earlier 1961 guitar. The guitar also features patent number pickups, not the patent applied for pickups that Gibson used until circa 1962. The guitar was given to Eric Clapton circa 1966, when the 1959 Les Paul standard he was using earlier with Cream was stolen, further narrowing the date range of the guitar. With the date range narrowed to 1963-1966, the presence of the 1964 potentiometer that appears to be original to the guitar has informed the circa 1964 date now assigned to this guitar. The body and neck of the guitar are mahogany with a rosewood fingerboard, and the frets appear to be original. Both pickups appear original, and the bridge pickup has a patent number decal. The nut has been replaced with a brass nut that is 1 11/16 inches wide. The guitar has chrome hardware and an original 5-ply black pickguard. The volume potentiometer for the bridge pickup has been replaced with a 1970s pot. The tuners have been replaced with Grover Rotomatic tuners, and the bridge has been replaced with a wide treble harmonica style Tunematic bridge and stock tailpiece. There is evidence that other tailpieces have been previously mounted, and indeed there are pictures of Clapton playing the Fool that show a trapeze style tailpiece, as well as a long arm Maestro vibrola, which can be seen clearly in this image of Clapton backstage before Cream's Murray the K music in the Fifth Dimension US debut show in 1967. Although the pickup rings are not original to the guitar, they do still have the original paint residue and were therefore on the guitar when it was originally painted. The control and pickup cavities have copper shielding, the truss rod cover has been replaced, and the output jack area has been repaired. When Todd Rundgren received the guitar from Jackie Lomax, the wood of the upper neck and headstock had deteriorated, whether from playing wear, sweat, or simple neglect. Another theory is that the paint had never properly cured, trapping moisture and causing the wood to deteriorate. Wanting a playable instrument, Rundgren had a portion of the neck and headstock replaced. Today, the exact spot of the repair is only slightly visible, and it was repainted to a near exact copy of the original. In addition, Rundgren had the body coated with a sealant that better protected the oil-based enamel paint and retouched some of the missing paint. Okay, it was exhibited in the Metropolitan Museum of Art Play It Loud exhibition there in 2019. A few other references here. There is a lot more information here about more on the Fool, as in the kind of the group, the Fool, rather than the guitar. More information about the actual kind of making of the guitar and lots of quotes. Other stuff kind of here. Maybe it's kind of interesting to say that for a portion of its life, the Fool, Eric Clapton's famed Gibson SG, was in the possession of renowned guitarist, songwriter, producer Todd Rundgren. There's been much speculation about how Rundgren came to acquire the guitar from Jackie Lomax, its condition at the time, its subsequent years, what he did to restore it, and even the number of replicas that were commissioned by him. We posed a key question to the man himself. Well, let's not kind of get too deep into the woods on that, because that will go on forever. But you can see here there's lots of stuff, people kind of playing things. There's their own video, I think, here from Julien's. So you know, lots of other information to look out for. So yeah, that was it really. I just a quick kind of overview just to say, wow, one of the rarest guitars of all time, Eric Clapton's Fool Gibson SG that he played in cream, is for sale and going up for auction in the next couple of days. So link in the description as always. Check it out, see what you think. Any comments, please let me know. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.